Well, we're talking all things investment and all things infrastructure here in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Let's get straight to it. My guest today is Leslie Maasdorp, the CEO of British International Investment. Leslie, good to have you on the program. I guess the big question is, do you miss South Africa?
Of course. I mean, you know, this is obviously time is a little bit cold back home, but I still miss the country deeply.
All your experience in South Africa, in Shanghai, with the new development bank as well, what does that teach you about the urgency with regards to infrastructure development?
I think across the world, infrastructure, as you know, is kind of the bedrock of economic development. Without power, without energy, without roads, without digital infrastructure, a country cannot grow and prosper. And in Africa, unfortunately, there's a massive infrastructure gap. The single biggest one, of course, is energy, which is where we as British International Investment are heavily invested in. And the reason why we are here is because every single other development finance institution have recognized that we need to coordinate better as we deploy capital in these infrastructure areas.
What would you say is the main challenge in terms of bottlenecks?
There are several bottlenecks. Firstly is project preparation. Often projects are not ready or not bankable, as we call it, right? You can't clearly see the revenue models. All the risks haven't been managed. Secondly is the problem of scarcity of capital. Thirdly, there's often a problem of inconsistent regulatory frameworks, policy frameworks that are not robust from government's side. And often there's also coordination failure, where you can have an independent power producer producing solar power, but the framework is not necessarily conducive for competition. So there's a whole series of measures, and because we now have the stronger collaborative effort amongst institutions, we have a better way to deal with those bottlenecks.
Yeah. I wonder if there's any low-hanging fruits for government, especially in order to make these projects more bankable.
I think there's a number of low-hanging fruits. The first one is naturally for government to have a clear, very consistent and very predictable policy environment or policy framework, and that should not be sort of changed when there's little changes in governments and elections and so on. And the second biggest low-hanging fruit is really the endeavor to try and crowd in or try and mobilize more private sector capital, especially pension funds, insurance capital, into these projects. I'll give you an example. In the digital domain, whether it's a tower company or it's fiber optics, these are businesses that are very profitable, right? So the risk return profile would be acceptable for big pension funds. So once DFIs, once institutions like BII have invested in some of these projects, we can then on-sell those projects to your more commercial investors. And then we can recycle our capital into new and other forms of infrastructure. We call it asset recycling.
And forums like this, together with Africa50, it helps in that endeavor?
Absolutely. Africa50 has existed for the last 10, 11 years, and it's important to bring all the main actors together, because one of the real challenges of Africa is we have so many countries, each one with their own policy and regulatory framework, and it's often complex, especially to do cross-border infrastructure. You cannot just have a fiber network start in one country and then the next country is without the infrastructure. So having better coordination is what Africa50 is also about.
Leslie, thank you very much indeed for your time.
Pleasure, thank you.
All right. That was Leslie Maasdorp. Leslie is the CEO of British International Investment, talking all things investment here in Tanzania. How do we get to the next level in terms of Africa growth? And that's one of the main questions being tackled here in Tanzania.